Kuimu Wolf. True devotion is what makes a demon. The 21st, 22nd, 23rd trials of the 81 calamities. Protagonist, Kuimu Wolf Demon. Weapon, dipped steel blade. Characteristics, strong, skilled, once defeated Zubaji and White Dragon Horse. A celestial who became the Yellow Robe Demon, out of love. Weaknesses, inferiority, reclusive, anxious, depressed. Other monsters either live alone, eating their fill while their families go hungry, or enjoy life with their brothers, drinking and reveling. But the Yellow Robe Monster, of Bull Mountain's Wave Moon Cave, in Treasure Elephant Kingdom is exceptionally family-oriented. Despite his green face and sharp teeth, he has a deeply devoted heart. As long as his wife stays with him and doesn't return to her family, he will obey her every word, making her the center of his world. The Yellow Robe Monster was once Kuimu Wolf Immortal, one of the 28 celestial constellations. He abandoned his heavenly position to secretly descend to the mortal realm, choosing a life of contentment with his wife and family over his divine duties. From deity to demon, he has no regrets. His ultimate pursuit is a warm life with his loved ones. Had he not encountered Tang Seng and his disciples, he would never have realized that what was once mutual affection had become endless torment for each other. An old monk arrived in the mountains. One day, while Kuimu Wolf was sleeping on his stone bed at home, he was disturbed by the inadvertent arrival of Tang Seng. Despite Tang Seng being terrified by his fierce appearance, Kuimu Wolf immediately ordered his minions to capture him. Under Kuimu Wolf's leadership, the little demons, well-trained and efficient, quickly captured Tang Seng and bound him up in no time. Tang Seng was indeed unfortunate. Kuimu Wolf had been a demon here for 13 years, and unlike other great demons, had no interest in capturing or eating people. He only wanted to live his quiet life. If Tang Seng hadn't stumbled into his domain by accident, Kuimu Wolf wouldn't have had the chance to capture him at all. Although Kuimu Wolf wasn't like other great demons who schemed to capture and eat Tang Seng, he wasn't about to refuse a meal that came to his doorstep. Upon seeing Tang Seng, Kuimu Wolf didn't rush to devour him. Instead, he thought, one monk won't be enough for the whole family. So he asked, "How many people are traveling with you?" Tang Seng, being honest as always, quickly revealed everything, saying, "I have 2 disciples along with a load of luggage and a white horse." Fearing he might not be clear enough, he even mentioned their names, Zubaji and Sha Seng. He explained that when they reached a place called Black Pine Forest, he sent Zubaji to beg for food as he was hungry. When Zubaji didn't return for a long time, Sha Seng went to find him. After waiting for a while without any sign of Sha Seng, Tang Seng decided to search for his disciples himself. While searching, he accidentally wandered into Kuimu Wolf's territory. This marked the 21st trial in Tang Seng's journey to the west, getting separated in Black Pine Forest. Kuimu Wolf's minions perked up upon hearing that Tang Seng had 2 disciples, and eagerly volunteered to capture them. But Kuimu Wolf waved his hand and said, "No rush. If the master is missing, the disciples are bound to come looking. Let's just wait here for them to deliver themselves." No doubt, Kuimu Wolf must have studied military strategy, understanding that fighting on home ground offers the advantage of favorable timing, terrain, and support, making success far more likely than venturing out to capture someone. Sure enough, when Zubaji and Sha Wujing returned from seeking alms and found their master missing, they immediately began searching. Following the golden light emanating from Kuimu Wolf's lair in the Bull Mountain's Moonwave Cave, they quickly found their way there. As soon as Zubaji saw that it was a demon's lair, he stepped forward and shouted loudly, "Open the door, open the door." The little demons, upon seeing the 2, quickly ran to report to Kuimu Wolf, shouting, "My king, my king! The catch has arrived." Kuimu Wolf stood at the entrance of his cave, facing off against Baji and Sha Seng. He pretended not to know and asked, "Where are you monks from, shouting loudly at my door?" Baji, not one to back down, stepped forward and said, "My boy, you don't recognize me. I'm a disciple of the monk journeying to the west. If you've captured my master, you'd better hand him over quickly, unless you want a beating." As the saying goes, the more capable a person is, the less likely they are to be provoked. The Kuimu wolf barely paid any attention to Baji's insults, thinking, "I'll make you into a meat bun soon and see if you still talk tough." However, in his eagerness to have his meal, Kuimu wolf carelessly revealed, "The monk is in my cave eating human meat buns right now." Given that Tang Seng is a virtuous monk who wouldn't even harm an ant, how could he be eating human meat buns? Hearing this, Sha Seg knew Kuimu wolf was lying, so he and Baji immediately prepared to fight. The battle between the two sides raged on, without a clear winner. The reason for this stalemate wasn't due to Kuimu wolf's lack of power, but because multiple deities were secretly protecting Tang Seng and his disciples. Without this divine intervention, even with two more of Baji and Sha Seg, they wouldn't stand a chance against Kuimu wolf. Tang Seng as the messenger. While Kuimu wolf and his minions fought fiercely outside, Tang Seng, trapped in the demon's cave, cried out sorrowfully. He lamented over Zhu Baji's greed, wondered if Sandy had found Zhu Baji, and constantly bewailed his own suffering. As Tang Seng cried, a stunningly beautiful woman emerged from the cave. Seeing the bound monk inside, she approached and asked Tang Seng why he was tied up there. However, Tang Seng, ever naive and unable to distinguish between humans and demons, blurted out with a martyr's resolve, "If you want to eat me, just go ahead. What are you asking for?" The beauty immediately clarified, "I'm not a man-eating demon. I am the third princess of Treasure Elephant Kingdom. 13 years ago, while I was admiring the moon at home, I was kidnapped by a demon and forced into marriage. I have been missing my parents every moment since." Upon hearing this, Tang Seng recounted to the princess in detail how he had accidentally wandered into this place and been captured. The princess, having been cut off from her family for years, asked Tang Seng to deliver a letter to her parents, saying, "If you agree to deliver the letter, I will have the king release you." Upon hearing this, Tang Seng immediately agreed, but as usual began to fret and ask the princess what would happen if her family did not recognize her. The princess, while writing the letter to her parents, explained her situation to Tang Seng and reassured him that her family would recognize her. After finishing the letter, she handed it to Tang Seng, instructed him to keep it safe, and warned him not to wander, fearing that the gatekeeping little demons might harm him. She then went outside to plead with the wolf. Seeing the princess approach, the wolf, who was fighting with Zhu Baji and Sha Seng in midair, landed immediately. When he heard his wife call, he asked, "Dear, what is the matter?" The princess said, "I just had a dream about a golden armored deity." The wolf, assuming a golden armored deity had frightened his wife in the dream, became angry and said, "Which deity dared come to my doorstep?" It seemed he was ready to confront an immortal. The princess reassured him, "When I was young, I promised that if I found a virtuous husband, I would visit sacred mountains and offer alms. Now that I have found a suitable husband like you, I haven't fulfilled my vow. I was worried that the deity might be angry. When I saw the bound monk at home, I thought I should ask you to let him go, just as a way of fulfilling my promise." Despite his great power and cunning, the wolf was easily swayed by his wife's plea. Without much thought, he agreed, saying, "It's no big deal. If it makes you happy, you can release him." He smiled affectionately at her. The princess immediately responded, "Then let him go through the back door." The wolf, always obedient to his wife, had no choice but to comply. He put down his weapon and shouted to Zhu Baji and Sha Seng, "Zhu Baji, come here. It's not that I fear you, but today, for my wife's sake, I will let your master go. Hurry up and get him from the back door, and continue on your journey. Don't come back here, or you'll regret it." Zhu Baji and Sha Seng, feeling as if they had been granted a reprieve, quickly ran off. It's no wonder that the two had been fighting with Kuimu wolf for a long time, without gaining any advantage. If they continued, given their abilities, they would only lose. Now was the time to retreat. The two of them fled to the back of the mountain, found Tang Seng hiding in the grass, and hurriedly continued their journey westward. This marked the 22nd trial that Tang Seng had to overcome on his journey to the west to obtain the scriptures, delivering a letter to the Kingdom of Treasure Elephant. Zubaji battles Kuimu Wolf. Tang Seng and his companions traveled a long distance and finally arrived at the place where the princess had requested a letter to be delivered, the Kingdom of Treasure Elephant. Upon arriving, Tang Seng, as usual, sought an audience with the king to exchange travel documents. After completing the exchange, Tang Seng fulfilled the princess's request by handing the letter to the king. Only then did the king learn that his long-lost daughter, Princess Baihua, had been abducted by the yellow-robed demon and forced into marriage, trapped in the demon's lair for 13 years. Now, in her letter, the princess tearfully begged her father to capture the demon and rescue her. As a father, how could he ignore her plea? The king was heartbroken, tears streaming down his face. After some time, the king wiped his tears and asked his civil and military officials who among them could lead an army to capture the demon and rescue Princess Baihua. The ministers looked at each other, but none dared to respond. It was no wonder, on one side were humans and on the other, a demon. The difference in power was too great. With no other option, the king turned to Tang Seng for help, promising that if his daughter could be saved, he would willingly become brothers with Tang Seng and offer him half of his kingdom. Tang Seng waved his hands repeatedly, saying that he was not capable of capturing demons and that he relied on his 2 disciples for protection throughout the journey. Hearing this, the king quickly summoned Zubaji and Sha Sem to the palace. Zubaji, being rather pig-headed, had previously fought Kuimu Wolf without gaining any advantage and had barely escaped. Yet now he stepped forward again, showing off his 36 transformations to the king and the court officials. The king and everyone in the court had never seen such divine abilities before, and were full of praise. Zubaji agreed to the king's request to go capture the demon. Sha Seg, being more cautious, remembered that they had not defeated Kuimu Wolf the last time, and fearing Zubaji might suffer a loss, hurriedly followed after him. The 2, familiar with the route, arrived at Kuimu Wolf's lair and wasted no time. Zubaji swung his iron rake, smashing the cave door to pieces. As if that wasn't enough, he shouted, "You forcibly took the princess as your wife. Now by the king's command, I've come to capture you. Surrender at once." This enraged Kuimu Wolf, making his eyes squint and nose twist with fury. He thought, "I let you and your master go out of kindness, and now you've come here meddling in my affairs. I gave up being a celestial in heaven to stay with my wife, becoming the yellow-robed demon on earth, and you dare come here causing trouble? I'll show you what happens." Kuimu Wolf, in his yellow-robed demon form, attacked with a sword, aiming straight for Zubaji's pig head. Fortunately, Zubaji dodged just in time, or he would have met his end. Sha Seng joined the fight, and the 3 of them battled fiercely, causing the skies to darken and the earth to tremble. However, Zubaji and Sha Seg were no match for Kuimu Wolf, and gradually began to lose. Zubaji, quick on his feet, managed to escape, but Sha Seng was unfortunate and got captured. Kuimu Wolf tied up Sha Seng inside the cave, and without bothering to beat or question him, hurried straight to the princess. As he walked, he thought, "It must be my wife who sent a letter home which led to today's trouble. I've always been completely devoted to her, fulfilling her every wish. How is it that my warm heart still can't win hers?" Kuimu Wolf went to confront the princess, asking if she had sent a letter home, causing people to come after him. Seeing Kuimu Wolf's anger, the princess was too afraid to admit it. Kuimu Wolf then went to question Sha Seg. Fortunately, Sha Seg, being wise and fearing the demon might harm the princess, also denied it. Only then did Kuimu Wolf's anger subside, and he repeatedly apologized to his wife. With his anger gone, Kuimu Wolf came up with a new plan. He thought, "Even though my wife and I are carefree in this cave, we don't have the approval of her family. It would be better for me to transform into a handsome young man, go to the Kingdom of Treasure Elephant, and acknowledge my father-in-law. If I can gain his approval, then our life together will be secure and lasting." Tang Seng is quite naive. Without hesitation, Kuimu Wolf transformed into a handsome young man, leapt onto a cloud, and headed straight for the Kingdom of Treasure Elephant. The king was in conversation with Tang Seng, pondering when they might rescue the princess. Suddenly, a report came in that the third prince consort had arrived. The king was puzzled, as he only had 2 prince consorts, so who was this third one? After a reminder from his attendants, he realized it was the demon. The king summoned Kuimu Wolf to the throne room. Kuimu Wolf, disguised as a handsome young man, carried himself with grace and politeness, speaking in a refined and cultured manner. His demeanor left the king and his ministers astonished, leading them to mistakenly believe he was a good person. Kuimu Wolf then made up a story. I am from Wave Moon Village on Bowl Mountain east of the city, and I make my living by hunting. Once I saw a young woman nearly attacked by a fierce tiger, so I stepped in to save her, not knowing she was the princess. We fell in love, and finding each other well matched, we became husband and wife. I wanted to kill the tiger, but the princess, being kind-hearted, asked me to let it go. To my surprise, the tiger fled to the mountains, cultivated itself into a demon, and now spreads lies, claiming to be a monk from the Tang dynasty. Your Majesty, that monk beside you is actually the tiger demon. Tang Seng was startled when he heard the demon claim that he was a fierce tiger from the mountains. He looked toward the king, but to his dismay, the king, being an ordinary mortal, was deceived by the demon and believed the lie. The king ordered Kuimu Wolf to reveal the tiger's true form. Kuimu Wolf, using his magic, had a bowl of clear water brought over. He took a sip and sprayed it onto Tang Seng's face, instantly transforming him into a tiger. Poor Tang Seng, anxious and helpless, could do nothing as he was caged. This marked the 23rd ordeal on Tang Seng's journey to the west, being transformed into a tiger in the Golden Throne Hall. Meanwhile, Kuimu Wolf, through his deceit, became a distinguished guest, enjoying fine food and drink, living a carefree life. That evening, the white dragon horse, who had transformed into a beautiful woman, attempted to assassinate Kuimu Wolf to save his master. However, Kuimu Wolf, loyal only to his wife, was unfazed by the beauty and even injured the white dragon king's hind leg. With no other options, Zhu Baji had to seek out Sun Wukong, who had been banished, to rescue their master. Sun Wukong and Zhu Baji chased Kuimu Wolf from the demon's lair to the kingdom of Treasure Elephant, but they gained little advantage in the fight. It wasn't until the Heavenly Court conducted a routine inspection and discovered that Kuimu Wolf had been on Earth for 13 days without permission that the 27 constellations were ordered to capture Kuimu Wolf and bring him back to the Heavenly Court. As it turned out, Kuimu Wolf had abducted the princess to make her his wife because she was the Jade Maiden, who had served incense in the Heavenly Court's Hall of Perfumed Fragrance in her previous life. The two had fallen in love at first sight and wanted to be together forever. However, unlike on Earth, love and marriage were forbidden in the Heavenly Court. Unable to be together, one was reincarnated as the third princess of the Kingdom of Treasure Elephant, and the other descended to Earth as a demon to continue their romance. But after the princess's reincarnation, she completely forgot their past. Had it not been for the encounter with Tang Seng and his disciples, Kuimu Wolf would never have realized that his love was an unending torment for the current princess. Now, seeing that his wife had no affection for him, Kuimu Wolf finally came to his senses. He let go of his obsession with love and returned to the Heavenly Court to focus on his duties.